Parsha Mishpatim starts with the words Ve'ela Mishpatim Shatasim Lifneim. You know, we live in a world, we live in an instant world. Instant communication with people across the world. Instant online ordering within 24 hours. In the worst case, in the best case scenario, 2-3 hours, we want to order Amazon grocery. It should come within an hour, it should come within 2 hours. Maximum Amazon Prime should come within 24 hours. We have redefined the word, the idea of fast food, drive-through and fast food. News travels at the speed of internet, and reputations are destroyed in minutes, mamish. This is progress. We live in a world which has witnessed tremendous technological progress, advances. Is this really progress? The Anshe Knesset HaGedolah say to us in the very first Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, Hevei Mesunim Bedim. When a person is judging, he must do it with patience. He must do it slowly and methodically. Hevei Mesunim. Don't rush when judging. Where do Chazal learn Hevei Mesunim Bedim? What's the source? The source is the juxtaposition of the two parshas, Yisro and Mishpatim. The end of Parsha Yisro tells us that by the Mizbeach, when the Kohanim walked up to the Mizbeach, they did not use steps, they used only a ramp. There's an aspect of tznius, but the Chazal learned that it means that there was an aspect of tznius, but they walked slowly. They did not rush. They did not rush up the steps of the Mizbeach. They walked slowly up the ramp. And because of that, when it says Ve'ela Mishpatim Shatasim Lifneim, that's what the Gemara says in Sanhedrin. From the fact that it says the V'lisala B'malas HaMizbeach next to Ve'ela Mishpatim, that means that when one judges, one should judge also with patience, slowly, and not rush into judgment. The Gemara in Eruvin tells a famous story of Rav Preda, who taught his Talmud 400 times the same idea, because the Talmud was not able to get it the first time, or the second time, or the 100th time, or the 200th time. It took 400 times for him to teach. Says the Gemara once, Rav Preda had told the Talmud that he was leaving. The Talmud already lost his attention, and he wasn't able to concentrate on what Rav Preda was saying. Even 400 times wasn't enough. Rav Preda had to recite this passage in the Talmud or whatever he was teaching him 800 times. It says from Chaim Shmulev, it's unbelievable. We're not talking about a regular person, we're talking about Rav Preda. Somebody on the level of Rav Preda certainly could have used his time in a more effective way, in a more constructive way. He could have learned his Torah. He could have achieved understanding, his own understanding in tremendous sugyas of the Torah. Instead, he used the time to teach this Talmud 800 times. Chaim Shmulev suggests perhaps Rav Preda at that moment, you know what he was thinking? Perhaps he was thinking, I'm working on my patience now. I'm going to teach this boy one more time, another time, and another time, and I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to become a patient person. I'm going to be able to better utilize and better understand and better appreciate the words of the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, Hevei Mesunim Bedim. Certainly, like Rabbi Yisrael Salanter points out, that din does not mean only when you're sitting in a court of justice, but every time a person makes a decision, he takes a decision, he takes all the factors, and he considers all the different options, and he decides. That's also a din, that's also a judgment. So Hevei Mesunim Bedim is not only a judge who's sitting in the court, but every single person, whenever he makes a decision, the Mishnah is telling us Hevei Mesunim Bedim. Perhaps, says Rav Chaim Shmulev, Rav Preda was thinking of that at that time, and in fact we know Rav Preda was blessed, and he was rewarded by living a tremendous 400 years, says the Gemara, that he lived a tremendously long life as a result of the fact that he was such a patient person. Perhaps he was working on his midah of mesinus. That's what Chaim Shmulev suggests. You know, this week we're reading Parsha Shkolim. It's also Rosh Chodesh Adar. It's a time when we talk about the Shkolim. Also, we see very often that the Chazal and the people in charge and the Torah and the Chazal were very careful to keep things organized in a way that we don't have to rush. We bring the Shkolim on the first day of Adar. Why? Because in Nisan, in a month from now, everything has to be in place. So all over Eretz Yisrael, people should gather their money, they should get together, they should decide how to do it, and organize their schedules in a way that allows them to bring the Shkolim on time. It doesn't have to be the last minute, it doesn't have to be a week before, 3 days before. No, Rosh Chodesh Adar, now is the time to think about what? About Nisan, in a month from now. Yes, take out your calendars, write down what you need to do. Hevei Mesunim Bedim. I once heard from one of my Rebbe, Rav Shalom Shapiro, the Mashgiach of Telz Yeshiva, who said over from one of his Rebbeim, Rav Gabriel Ginsburg. Rav Gabriel Ginsburg, Zechat Tzadik L'Vrocha, he said the following. He once came to Yeshiva, and he had a cast either on his hand or his leg, and he said, I have a tremendous kasha on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I have a tremendous question on Hashem. How could he have done this to me? I woke up this morning, I was a little late, so I was running to the yeshiva to be on time for davening, and I fell down and I broke my leg. Isn't that terrible? How can Hashem do that to me? And you know what I decided? At that moment, I decided, Sir Gabriel Ginsburg and Shalom Shapiro would say this over. I learned from here that Zrizus does not mean running. Zrizus means start on time. Zrizus means to start on time. That's what it means. It does not mean to run. A tremendous personality who has a great effect on me, Rabbi Avraham Edelstein, Educational Director of Neve Yerushalayim. Those who are close to him and know Rabbi Edelstein. He's told me many times also himself that people have asked him, Rabbi Edelstein, you're such a busy person, you take care of so many things, wouldn't it be better, wouldn't it be more effective if you used a smartphone? Wouldn't it save you time? And Rabbi Edelstein said the following, very, very insightful and very, very smart and very, very correct. He said, I can guarantee you, I promise you, that having a smartphone may do a lot of things, but it will not save you time. And I'll prove it to you. Look around and see people who are addicted to their smartphones. Do they have more time? Do they have more spare time? More free time? Maybe it's more convenient. Maybe it's easier to use. Maybe it's easier for people who like multitasking. It will not save you any time. That's not what saves you time. Doing more and rushing to get more, that's not what's going to help you organize your time and practice proper time management. Obviously, technology is unbelievable, and we use technology for the proper reasons and for proper things. Look, all of you who are watching me right now say this Dvar Torah are using technology and using the internet, YouTube that I was able to upload it, and using all the parts that led to the fact that people around the world can watch this video. It's unbelievable, it's great. But having Misunim B'dim, let's not forget that we're not living in a progressive generation. Unfortunately, we're in a really regressive generation when people have attention spans which are measured in milliseconds instead of minutes or definitely hours. We're living in a time when news travels way too fast, and everybody has to know all the news immediately, instantly. This is not the progress that the Torah wants from us, definitely not the progress that the Mishnah wants from us, when the Mishnah urges us, Anshe Knesset Gedela urges us, Have Misunim B'dim. Good Shabbos.